Hey everyone, Britt and Chris Carmichael here, bringing you the Elevated Life series where we teach you simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. And I am super excited about today's topic because I know that each and every one of us deals with this in some form or shape in capacity. So today we're going to be talking about how to improve your productivity, your sleep, your relationships. What else?
Happiness,
your happiness, yeah, your focus. Basically, everything boils down to one simple step. In today's topic, we are going to teach you that here today. Super excited to join you live every Friday for the Elevated Life series. So thankful for everyone who is here. And we are excited to share lots of tips, tricks, and even facts today about how this can improve your productivity, your sleep, your relationships, your mood, your focus, and basically everything that we experience in life.
Yeah, it's funny how so many of the things that we do have carry over into other things, and this one for sure carries over so much. Hey, you have stars all over your video, by the way. I love it. Britt's so much fun.
Yeah.
So the whole deal about this that we're going to be talking about is really how to have a digital detox, and that really means moving back away from technology, even for a brief period of time. And how much that benefits your life. I've actually been doing this for a really long time, and the benefits that I feel from it are exponential. And every time I do it, even for short periods of time, even to get away from technology for a night or for a whole day or a weekend or anything, is something that it feels like you've been on vacation for a year. And it's because you're not constantly bombarded by other stuff, you know. And it's like, I've been doing it. Luckily, the place that we moved into, from our last place to our new place, our current place, we have such terrible cell reception. Like, I can't hardly ever even get a phone call. And sometimes text messages come through later and stuff like that. So I'm used to setting this up in my life this way because that's just the way that it's been. But having other people do it in their lives has been, you know, the feedback that we've gotten back from this is just phenomenal. Just how good people feel, you don't realize how it impacts you.
It's so true. And when we first moved into the place that we live in now, and we had terrible service and reception, my phone didn't work, I didn't get phone calls, I had a panic attack. I'm like, how's my business going to run? What if I can't get a hold of people? You know, just all these different what if questions. And it's been 6 years now, and it's been the biggest blessing in disguise ever, because now I'm not attached to that phone. I can set it down and not even think about it for hours and hours and hours, as opposed to before constantly checking it. So in today's topic, we're going to talk about some of the statistics on how it is affecting your sleep, your mood, your productivity, and we're going to talk about how you can begin to start implementing small shifts, simple, shifts to make big transformations in your life. It doesn't mean you have to lock your phone in a freaking safe, for a month, but we're going to teach you simple ways to begin to start detaching from your obsession with the phone.
Yeah, one of the studies that we were looking at was a sleep study done by Harvard, and what they figured out is that the light that comes from your phone is blue, and even if you put it in the flux mode that gives you that kind of like orangish light, that yellow-orange light, still having light on before you go to bed disrupts your body's ability to produce melatonin, and that's the signal for your body to go, okay, it's rest mode. Back in the day, before we had light bulbs and stuff like that, your body knew when to go to sleep. Mm-hmm. It said, oh, it's getting dark now. It's time for night-night.
It reminds me of when we were in Iceland, and the sun doesn't go down in the summer. So my body was tired. I could feel the heaviness of my body at the end of the day, but my mind never shut off because it was constantly sunlight. And it's the light from your phone, just as the same as the light in Iceland in the summer, that keeps your mind awake and doesn't allow it to produce the natural melatonin that allows you to fall asleep.
Yeah, so if you're one of the people that says, like, hey, I'm just not sleeping that great, look, are you taking your phone in the bedroom? And if you are, that's going to be one of the big causes. Are you sitting there checking your phone? Is that light popping up in the room?
TV or...
Yeah, anything where something is on and you're re-engaging the mind. You're not allowing the mind to have that natural melatonin production, the natural slow down, the natural state into perfect sleep. And so if you keep doing that, the sleep's always going to be inhibited.
So we've talked about sleep and how the digital products that we use are causing us to not sleep as well, which then in turn affects our mood, our productivity.
Especially the next day.
Yeah, it really does carry over into all areas of your life, just starting with the sleep. So let's move on to focus and how how it's dropped our attention span. From 2000, it used to be 12 seconds. And Chris is saying, hey, you know the attention span of a goldfish is like, what, 9 seconds or something like that? And everyone's like, oh, ha, the goldfish are so stupid. Well, here's the truth. In 2013, they did a study where the human attention span has now dropped to 8 seconds.
So below a goldfish. So we're getting slower than the goldfish as far as attention span goes. And this is so big because attention span means how well you can do tasks. If you're doing something and you need to do it for work or for your partner or for anything for yourself, and then all of a sudden you realize like, oh, there goes my attention span. Hey, there goes my attention span. And what ends up happening is you can't finish the task. You can't complete anything. So if you find yourself starting things but not finishing them, notice if you're grabbing your phone.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's huge.
So, okay, so obviously focus, if our attention spans drop, then that's going to play over and spill into our productivity. Because so many times we hear a ding or a call or this or some kind of distraction, and why is it that that notification has the authority over our choices, our life, like what we're doing? It stops us from creating, or if we're working or whatever it may be, or if we're engaged with in a conversation with your partner or a friend. If it dings, you automatically look. You may not pick it up. Most people do. You may not pick it up, but it still breaks your attention span.
Yeah, and focus and consistency, like we've talked about before, are the biggest things that will help you move forward. If you can stay focused on something for a while, which a lot of times is the difference between success and failure. A lot of people, oh, I just can't do it. Oh, I just can't do it. It's because you spend so much time checking your phone. If you just could focus long enough, exactly right here. I'm a very distracted person. Just like Cynthia just said, and it's so true. And it's the fact that the second that we have that ding go off, or the second that a phone rings, or the second that someone knocks at the door, or the second that any little bitty thing happens, boom, the attention's gone. Now we're on to something else. Our train of thought's broken. We can't get into the creative flow states that we need to really produce wonderful things in the world. And so this is going to be huge.
So I just want to throw out some numbers, because you might be surprised, because most of the time you're unconsciously doing it because it's a programmed bad habit. The average office worker, checks their phone 30 times in an hour, and the average person checks their phone 150 times in a day. Are you one of those people? Do you even realize how often you're picking up your phone? Let me ask you this. Is the first thing you do in the morning wake up, grab my phone? Because I'll say that 90% of the people that I work with and coach, that's the first thing they do. When I say, what's your morning routine like? What do you do the first thing you wake up? Well, I grab my phone. Why isn't it in the other room? Why are you allowing yourself to respond, to react to the world, rather, not even respond, because you're automatically like in reaction mode, like, oh shit, I gotta help this person, I gotta do this, I gotta answer that. Oh, and then it totally takes all the attention away from you and filling up your cup in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. And the next big study, and I've seen this study replicated a bunch of times, and it is that the more often that we check social media, especially Facebook, especially Instagram, it's a direct correlation to how we feel about our own lives in a negative way. Mm-hmm. And it's because we're always in this comparison mode. And a lot of times, again, social media is a highlight reel for a lot of people's lives. And so if you're comparing your average day to every single person who just puts like, ooh, I had this one success, let me post about it. And the next person, I had this one success, let me post about it. It seems like everyone's doing super well, but your life sucks. Mm-hmm. And so you constantly feel that way. You're like, well, I don't really have anything to post today. And then, you're comparing yourself to everybody. And that comparison will drop how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your life. And it's just like this rain cloud follows you when really all that happened was you got on social media and checked it. No other things happened. It's not like you got into some serious situation or you actually failed. It was just that comparison part.
So before we move into some of the simple tips that you can start implementing to help detox yourself from this, let's talk about the last category that we've chosen for today that affects, this being attached to this phone affects our life, and that is our relationships. 33% of people that are out to eat are on their phone. I look around, we have a rule, here's tip number 1, leave your phone in the car when you go out to eat. When we go out to eat, which is very rare because we eat organic and plant-based and there's not too many options around, but when we do, I look around, even just going to Chipotle, I look at the line and everyone's head's down. I mean, we're gonna be evolved into like a species that can only look look down. It's crazy. So it's not only affecting our posture, but then that affects our energy levels because we're like cutting it off by looking down. And, you know, not just the physical body, but who you show up with. So did you show up to dinner to be talking to your friends or post on Snapchat or whatever you do? You know, it just breaks my heart when I look around and I see one person. It's not just women and it's not just men. Sometimes it's both, and they're both sitting on their phone and they're sitting across from each other. And it just breaks my heart because, you know, like, how are you ever going to connect? How are you going to make that intimate? Like, why are you on social media? What are you looking, like, what dopamine drip are you trying to fill when you have a partner in front of you? You know, that's one thing that drives me crazy, is how it's really an epidemic and it's taken over. I mean, literally, robots have taken over.
Yeah, and you know, the other part, and I didn't know this was a big deal because we haven't been to the movies in a long time, and we just recently started going again, and the study that we read said that 35% of people use their phone during the movie, and I think 35 is a low number. Every single person we've sat next to in the past couple months, or the past like 3 or 4 movies that we've gone to, every person we've sat next to has been on their phone during the movie. Like, you pay for the movie, pop out your phone, and you just get on Facebook the whole time. And it's the whole time. It's not like they just check it once or twice. It's the whole movie.
I know, and that's distracting to other people. So we've talked about the areas in which this can affect your life: your mood, your productivity, your relationships, your worth, like your happiness for your life. I mean, everything. It affects every area of your life. And now we want to move into some simple tips that you guys can start implementing that will make a world of a difference. And the one that I was most resistant to, guys, we are doing this for ourselves too. So, you know, we go through the feelings of like, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, what if I miss a call, or what if I miss an emergency? One, you're not the police or a paramedic. I mean, you might be, but we're not. So it's okay to turn your phone off. You can't be that savior for every single person. You know, people become resistant when we say, leave your phone in the other room when you sleep. But what if, when's the last time? You know, when's the last time? So the first thing that I was so resistant to was leaving my phone out in the other room. But more than that was to turn off the notifications on Facebook, on Instagram, on Messenger, on all of it. I mean, you could even go one step further and delete the app. But I turned off the notifications, and what I realized is that silly little red button that has numbers in it has this unconscious power of going, you need to check that, you need to make it go away, clear it away, to-do list, check, check, check. You know, it like really activates our mind, and that has nothing to do with what we want to be doing in life, our goals, our dreams, how we feel about life, but it does rule. I mean, push a button, let me know. Are you one of those people when you see a notification or a new email, you're like, oh, I have to check it right away, I have to get it, I got to clear it away. I know I was one of those people, so I can't be the only one. So turn off the notifications, and it will save you a world of time, because you're not constantly like, oh, I have a new message, oh, I have a new message. If you delegate 3 times a day to check your phone, then you can open it up and go, okay, here's all the messages. Instead of like constantly 5 seconds here, 15 seconds here, because we all know that can turn into 5 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, and this is especially true on, I mean, it's true every day, but on a work day for sure, because you need to be doing work stuff. You know, you need to be getting things done. And if you're just constantly checking your email, that won't happen. Mm-hmm. And then if you're with your partner, if you're at the movies, especially if I'm sitting next to you, or if you're at the dinner, leave the phone. Leave the phone at home, leave the phone in the car, leave the phone anywhere. Be with your partner, really engage. Make it feel like they're the only person in the world. Like that, people always ask me, like, how do you build a big relationship? You know, how do you stay connected for a long time? It's make that person feel like they're the only thing that exists. And if you can do that, you don't have your phone in your hand. Mm-hmm. It's impossible to do that. Now, there are times where you need to, like, you know, you both are going to want to be on your phone, and that's fine. Schedule that time, figure that time out, and both be on it. That's okay. But if you're doing it all the time and not connecting with the person, especially when they're going through something that's really serious or intense for them, like, you know, you're going to feel like less of a partner to them. You're going to be like, hey, like, where were you when I needed you? Oh, you were on your phone checking the football game. Like, what are you doing, man? Ooh. And so it's one of those things. So these are really simple deals. You don't necessarily have to put your phone away for a day, although that's what I recommend. I think you should do a day every week. Yeah, choose a 24-hour period where you know you can set that away. For us, it's Sunday. We don't do anything on Sunday. We disconnect completely so that we can reconnect with ourselves. And it just is,
I can't even describe the amount of joy and peacefulness that I have during those times where I'm not like, well, what is this? And this is happening, da, 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 check on this, gotta post this. I mean, it is so stressful and you don't even realize it because it's so natural and habitual. So the next thing that has really helped me to stay away from social media and to detox the negativity is to unfollow or hide people that are on your friends list in your newsfeed that aren't contributing to your happiness, your productivity. So the only people that show up in my feed are businesses that I want to know, do they have a sale, or things that are extremely inspiring and empowering. Everything else is hidden. You don't have to delete everyone. You're like, you're negative, I don't want to, we're not friends. You can just hide them, and that will allow you to stop scrolling through the endless sea of negativity.
Yeah, so this is really important. And again, the unsubscribe thing too. Any kind of email that you get that you're not in alignment with anymore, or that doesn't benefit you, or is not really working for you, get rid of it. Get rid of everything in your life that's not serving you. That seems like such an easy concept, but a lot of people really struggle to let go of things, even if they don't use them, or even if they don't need them, or even if it doesn't help them. They still keep it like, well, I've been doing it for so long. Good. This is the day right now. If you've been waiting for permission, you're like, hey, I'm just waiting for. This is it. Well, we're giving you permission. Mm-hmm. Cancel everything that you don't like. I mean, just totally ditch it. And what you'll notice is that you have so much free time. One of the exercises that I tried out when we were first doing this is to just say from, let's say 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock forward, no phone.
Yeah, set an alarm in the evening for when you want to turn off your phone. So at about 9 o'clock, actually at 9 o'clock for years, we've had an alarm that goes off, and we call it tea time. So we turn off our phones and we start making tea, and that is our symbolic ritual that lets our body know, okay, we're winding down for the day. No more interaction, no more emails, no more anything but spending time winding down and releasing the energy that we've picked up from the day, and really moving into that evening routine.
Yeah, this is one of those things that, again, carries over so much into everything, and it's very simple, and it's weird how much people are just resistant to letting go of the phone. They say that most people can't not check their phone in like more than a 10-minute space. So like if 10 minutes comes up, they almost feel like if they don't have their phone next to them, like something is missing. So it's time to really let go of that and really start to connect back with yourself. And again, you notice, you're like, man, I have so much more free time than I thought I did. I'm so much more connected with my partner. I feel so much better. I sleep so much better. I'm getting so much work done. The house is clean. The animals are bathed. I've got food prepped all of a sudden for next week. And you're like, have I always had this much time? And the reality is that you have. And so the whole idea of like, I don't have the time. I just can't do it. It's mainly because you're just sitting on your phone, you know? And it's like, so really try these steps out. And again, you don't have to go for the full period. If that freaks you out of ditching it for a day or for a weekend or whatever, if you really want to do it, I think at least once a quarter, once every 6 months, you should ditch your phone for like a week. And I know for a lot of people that's really scary, especially because, we have businesses and stuff, but so what? The
world will not end.
Yeah, your life is designed around you. And so it's really important that you always keep coming back and reconnecting with you. And what will end up happening is you have so many more ideas and you can give so much more of yourself just because you don't feel worn out. Because again, you've been getting a good sleep, you're feeling good, your relationships are good, so it's not like a damper on everything.
You're not seeing the negativity on social media. It's such a beautiful thing, and the only way you're ever going to experience is to commit and do it. Erica says these are great tips, and Anne says, ooh, journaling in the evening would be awesome.
Yes.
She loves it, and she went 6 months without a phone, and it was amazing. Now she only uses it for work.
Beautiful.
That's exactly how I have my situation set up, is knowing that I need social media to connect my business online, but it's not for personal. I have hidden everything. So when friends are like, did you see on blah, 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 I posted this? I'm always like, nope, sorry. I'm like, it's not that I'm a bad friend. It's that I've turned it all off so that I can stay focused on putting my message out into the world and building and staying focused on my business and putting it out there.
Well, I mean, think about this. If you went back, let's say, I don't know, 20 years?
No,
10
no
years,
Apple phones.
Yeah, let's say 10 years ago, how many friends did you really have? Did you have 50,000? Did you have 10,000? No, you never would have had that. But now that you keep a phone in your pocket, everyone from every social media account, from Twitter, from all the stuff, now you have that many friends. And so when all these people message you and more people message you, I mean, especially for Britt, who's like, active on social media, it's like people will message her 24 hours a day from other countries and all sorts of stuff. And like, if she didn't turn that off, she would live just to work. And it's like, you just can't do that. You have to be always finding that work-life balance.
And I've done that.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here to teach you today that it sucks.
Yeah.
And you don't need to do that. That you can let go. That you can detach from this world, this online world, and have the most enjoyable, peace-filled, productive life, and you haven't missed out on anything.
Yeah, and if you have that feeling, you're like, well, I can't do that because my business runs this way, and then or my life runs this way, and stuff like that. I have hung out with, talked with, read about, and coached super top people, and they do these same steps. This is exactly what they do, because you can't get overloaded. Because if you do, everything else will suffer.
Bam.
Bam.
Thank you so much for joining us here on the Elevated Life series. I want to know, what were you resistant to? Are you like, oh my God, I have to let go of my phone? Or what was that tip, that aha moment that you're like, I'm going to try that. I'm super excited. Leave that in the comments below, because I want to know where you're at. Because like I said, we went through this. We have struggled and come out the other side stronger, more focused, more happy, more productive. And we're not prisoners anymore. We're not prisoners to that red notification bubble.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sorry, that was the same message. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on the Elevated Life series, where we teach you simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. Every Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.